Europe is a vast continent populated by many peoples, and one might wonder about their biblical origins. Each European nation has its own lineage, and if this intrigues you, there is fascinating genealogical information to explore. Discover the origin of the white and European peoples according to the sacred scriptures. With that in mind, enjoy another episode from our series on the origins of peoples in the Bible. Europe encompasses numerous countries, including Germany, Austria, Poland, Hungary, France, Italy, and Romania. The sacred scriptures actually mention the beginnings of these European groups. Biblical texts list the names of the forefathers of several European peoples in Genesis chapter 10. These texts, when interpreted symbolically and in context with the regions and nations involved, reveal the ancestry of European peoples. Among the most prominent mentioned are the Greeks and Macedonians, who are direct descendants of one of Japheth's sons. From this, we understand who is considered the ancestor of the European peoples. Just as Javan, son of Japheth, is seen as the forefather of the Greeks, ancient genealogies, Jewish traditions, and the general views of Semitic peoples point to Japheth, son of Noah, as the progenitor of Europeans. The name Japheth carries meanings such as beautiful, pale, enlargement, or multiplication. Biblically, Europeans are referred to as Japhetic peoples, or descendants of Japheth. Linguistically, the European language family, including English, German, Russian, Ukrainian, and others, is often called the Japhethic language family in reference to this ancestor. The sacred scriptures discuss the ancestors of European peoples in Genesis chapter 10 and the book of Chronicles, providing insight into their biblical heritage. In the scriptures, we find the lineage of Japheth, listing his 7 sons and their descendants. Through the names of Japheth's sons and grandsons, it is possible to trace the origins of the ancient European peoples. In antiquity, the Israelites themselves referred to the European peoples as Javanim or Javites, with Javan specifically pointing to the Greek region and its inhabitants, the sons of Javan. In the book of Genesis, the names of Japheth's descendants are recorded. His sons were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Gomer's sons were Ashkenaz, Japheth, and Togarmah, while Javan's sons were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. The biblical association of Ashkenaz with the Germanic peoples is particularly notable. Among Jewish communities, this connection persists today. Ashkenazi Jews identify regions such as Germany and other Germanic lands as Ashkenaz, recognizing Ashkenaz as the ancestral figure of the Germanic peoples, including the Germans themselves. Another significant figure is Japheth. According to ancient interpretations and the traditions of the Irish, who trace their lineage to the Celtic peoples, Japheth is regarded as the biblical ancestor of the Celts. Japheth, son of Gomer and grandson of Japheth, is considered the forefather of the Celtic tribes that spread throughout Europe. In addition to Japheth's line, several other descendants of Japheth are connected with European or closely related groups. One example is Madai, mentioned in biblical texts as a son of Japheth and associated with the peoples who settled in the Iranian region, the Aryan or Median peoples. The similarity between Madai and Mede reflects their shared origins. Madai is described as the progenitor of the Median tribes, including the Medes, Persians, Parthians, and other ancient peoples of Persian descent. Another significant name in Genesis 10 verse 2 is Meshech, along with Tubal. Tubal and Meshech are identified as the ancestral figures of the Russian, Ukrainian, and broader Slavic peoples, linking their origins to Japheth's descendants. The Slavic peoples trace their lineage to 3 significant biblical figures. Scholars of biblical genealogies and nations widely agree that Russia and Ukraine correspond to the lands of Gomer and Magog, with Tubal and Meshech identified as their biblical ancestors. This connection is essential for understanding the apocalyptic prophecies found in the book of Revelation and in Old Testament texts such as Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah, and other sacred writings. Recognizing the names and ancestral origins of these peoples is crucial. Magog, Tubal, and Meshech are traditionally viewed as the forefathers of the Slavic peoples, while Ashkenaz is regarded as the ancestor of the Germanic groups. It is important, however, to distinguish between the Germanic and Slavic peoples, as they stem from different ancestral lines. we have already uncovered the biblical ancestry of several European groups who are genetically related, forming the white populations of Europe. Another notable biblical figure is Tyrus, who is considered the ancestor of the Italian peoples due to his connection with the Etruscans. The Etruscans were one of the key groups that contributed to the ancestry of the ancient Italians. The Romans, descendants of the Etruscans and other Japhethite peoples, carried this legacy forward. An interesting detail about Javan, son of Japheth, is that he was not only the progenitor of the Greek peoples but also of other groups closely connected to the Greeks, though not Greek themselves. It is also remarkable that the names of Japheth's sons share notable linguistic similarities despite variations in Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic forms. These differences are attributed to the linguistic divergence that took place after the Tower of Babel, when languages were divided because of human disobedience. According to biblical tradition, there once existed a single, universal tongue spoken by all humankind, referred to as the Adamic language, which is believed to have been the original common language before the dispersal of peoples. This original language is believed to have been spoken by the earliest human beings, the descendants of Adam and Eve. Today, the world is marked by immense linguistic diversity, with thousands of different languages, each possessing its own unique history and evolution. A clear example is modern Greek, the contemporary language of Greece. Modern Greek is a direct descendant of ancient Greek, which has been spoken for thousands of years since classical antiquity. Over the centuries, Greek has evolved significantly in both structure and vocabulary, resulting in the modern form we know today. Among the descendants of Javan, we find Elisha, identified as the ancestor of the Greek peoples. Elisha, the grandson of Japheth and son of Javan, gave rise to the original Greeks. The resemblance between the name Elisha and Helen, the term associated with Greek identity, is evident in English, Hebrew, and Greek alike. Another son of Javan who stands out is Tarshish, mentioned multiple times in the sacred scriptures. Tarshish is recognized as the ancestral father of the Tarshishians, the earliest inhabitants of the Iberian Peninsula. The Portuguese and Spaniards trace their lineage to Tarshish, though their ancestry also includes other Japhethite and Semitic elements. Originally, they are considered descendants of Tarshish, the son of Javan and grandson of Japheth. Kittim, another son of Javan, is traditionally associated with the island of Cyprus, making the Cypriots his descendants. The fourth son of Javan, Dodanim, is sometimes believed to be a transcription variation of Rodanim or Dardanim due to linguistic differences. He is considered the forefather of the Dardanians, an ancient Trojan people. There are countless other stories and biblical identifications that could be explored about these figures and their origins, but those will be covered in the next part of the series, which will focus on the origins of Asian peoples according to the Holy Scriptures. In summary, European peoples are direct descendants of Japheth and are collectively known as Japhethite peoples. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments and, if possible, share the video. See you in the next video.